Let me ask you something that keeps me up at night. How do two people who start off completely hating each other's guts end up creating a love story so dangerously intense, so utterly consuming, that millions of us across the globe are still completely paralyzed by it years later? We are talking about Yıldız and Serkan Bolat. Hacker. A relationship that didn't just walk the line between passion and toxicity, it blurred it until the line completely vanished. From that very first fake contract to the agonizing heartbreak that nearly broke them both, their story wasn't just a romance. It was an absolute emotional war zone where neither side was willing to surrender. So sit back, make yourself comfortable, and hit that like button right now because we are diving deep into the raw, beautiful, chaotic psychological labyrinth of Ida and Serkan. And please drop your absolute honest thoughts in the comments below, because I know you have feelings about this. To truly understand why their chemistry hit us like a freight train, we have to talk about the sheer psychological friction that started it all. You have Serkan Bolat, a man who built an entire empire around absolute control, cold logic, and emotional distance. He treated his life like an architectural blueprint where every single variable had to be calculated, predicted, and executed without flaw. Emotional vulnerability was a weakness he simply could not afford. Enter Yıldız, a walking, breathing storm of pure passion, instinct, and unfiltered justice. She wasn't just another person in his orbit. She was the exact antithesis of everything he stood for. She was unpredictable, fiercely independent, and completely unwilling to bow down to his authority. When they clashed, it wasn't just a silly argument. It was a violent collision of two fundamental worldviews. That fake contract was supposed to be a transactional arrangement, a calculated chess move for Serkan to win back his ex-fiancée, and a convenient way for Ida to secure her future. But the moment you put two human beings with that level of raw magnetic tension in close proximity, logic completely disintegrates. What makes their dynamic so utterly addictive is how quickly the lines between playing a role and feeling the truth began to bleed into each other. They were trying so hard to convince everyone else that they were in love, but in reality, they were desperately trying to convince themselves that they weren't. Every lingering glance, every accidental touch, every forced smile for the cameras was secretly feeding a fire that was growing far beyond their control. They were playing with fire while pretending they couldn't feel the heat. Serkan's fundamental flaw was his belief that he could quantify love, that he could set parameters around a feeling that inherently defies control. Ida shattered his defense mechanisms brick by brick, not by trying to change him, but simply by existing in her raw, unbothered authenticity. For the first time in his life, Serkan couldn't control the outcome. He couldn't predict what she would say, how she would react, or why her presence unsettled his entire world. And for a man who used control as a shield against emotional trauma, that was terrifying. Yet, that terror was precisely what made him crave her. She offered him something his hyper-controlled, perfectionist life never could: genuine, unscripted vitality. On the flip side, Ida's initial resentment towards Serkan was heavily rooted in her own deep-seated trauma and the sense of stolen potential. She blamed him for ruining her dreams, making him the physical target for all her built-up anger and frustration. But as she peeled back the cold, arrogant layers of Serkan Bolat, she found a man burdened by immense expectations, profound loneliness, and hidden emotional scars. Her fierce protection of him wasn't born out of pity, it was born out of an intense, subconscious recognition that under all that polished armor, he was just as fractured as she was. Their souls didn't just complement each other, they recognized each other's hidden pain. When the pretend setup finally crumbled and their real feelings erupted, it wasn't a gentle transition into happily ever after. It was explosive, destabilizing, and emotionally exhausting. Their love was rooted in a deep, agonizing duality. On one hand, they experienced a breathtaking, transcendent passion that felt like fate itself. On the other hand, their pride, miscommunication, and external traumas turned their connection into an absolute crucible. Serkan's instinct when things got overwhelming was to retreat into his shell, to protect Ida by pushing her away, even if it meant tearing his own heart out in the process. Ida, driven by her fiery need for transparency and deep emotional honesty, fought back against that distance with every fiber of her being. Think about the sheer pain of that heartbreaking separation when secrets from the past resurfaced. The weight of family history, hidden guilt, and tragic loss forced Serkan into making a brutal sacrifice. Instead of letting Ida share the burden, He chose to carry the crushing weight alone, choosing to act like a villain in her story, rather than reveal a truth he felt would destroy her. That decision was agonizing to watch because it highlighted both his grandest act of devotion and his ultimate flaw. He thought loving her meant protecting her from pain, failing to realize that abandoning her was the deepest wound he could ever inflict. The angst was suffocating because we, as the audience, could see the agony behind his cold mask while watching Ida's heart break into a million pieces. Yet, despite every lie, every misunderstanding, every manipulative intervention from people who tried to tear them apart, the universe kept pulling them back together. Their attraction wasn't just physical or romantic, it was almost gravitational. They could cross roomfuls of people, enter entirely different chapters of their lives, or pretend to move on with other partners, but the second their eyes met across a crowded room, the entire rest of the world ceased to exist. They shared a private language of subtle glances, unspoken tension, and a possessive instinct that neither could ever fully suppress. No matter how high they built their walls, one word from the other could make those walls come crashing down in seconds. What made their dynamic so undeniably toxic at times, yet entirely irresistible, was that neither of them knew how to love moderately. It was always all or nothing. They loved with a desperate, white-hot fury that consumed everything in its path. When they were good, their passion was electric, radiating off the screen so intensely that you felt like an intruder watching something sacred. But when they were bad, they hurt each other with surgical precision because nobody knew where the other's deepest wounds were better than they did. They knew exactly which buttons to push, which silences to drop, and which words would inflict maximum damage. When Serkan suffered his memory loss, it felt like the ultimate emotional punishment for Ida, and for all of us watching. Seeing the man who loved her beyond measure look at her like a total stranger was a level of emotional torture that few shows could pull off so effectively. Ida had to stand there, holding the weight of their entire shared history alone, fighting for a love that felt like a phantom. But even without his memories, Serkan's body, his instincts, and his heart recognized her long before his brain did. That primal subconscious pull proved that their bond was far deeper than logic or memory. It was etched into their very soul. By the time they reached their eventual resolution, after years of heartbreak, long separations, and life-altering secrets, their love had transformed. It was no longer just the chaotic, unpredictable storm of youth. It had evolved into an enduring, tested, and invincible bond. They had survived every imaginable obstacle, including their own inner demons. Ida taught Serkan how to feel without fear, how to let go of absolute control, and how to embrace the beautiful messiness of living. Serkan gave Ida a safe harbor, a steady foundation, and a devotion so profound that it anchored her wildest dreams. Ida and Serkan's story resonates so powerfully because it didn't offer us a bland, fairy tale romance. It gave us a chaotic, imperfect, agonizingly beautiful mess that felt deeply human. It reminded us that true love isn't about avoiding the storm. It's about finding the person you're willing to stand in the eye of the storm with, no matter how hard the wind blows. Their chemistry wasn't just generated by script lines. It was forged in the subtle beats between words, the unspoken lingering glances, and the raw, unadulterated vulnerability they demanded from each other. If you are still as deeply obsessed with Hacker as I am, tell me in the comments right now, what was the exact scene where you knew there was no turning back for them? Was it the handcuff incident, the stargazing night, or that soul-crushing separation? Let me know your top moments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite love stories, and I will see you all in the very next video.